So welcome to Terra Totella Living, and we have Holly with the Marvelous Miners. And I want to ask you, what does eco-conscious living to mean to you?
Well, we used to live in a 2,400 square foot house. So we have downgraded or downsized a ton. We started with a 33-foot motorhome, Class C, and we figured out that was just a little too small for us. So now we're in a 42-foot fifth wheel. But um, yeah, we used to live in that house, the 2,400 square feet, and we noticed so we weren't going outside as much. We had just had Jack, and we just weren't, we were kind of getting out of our old routine. We weren't going, on fun trips anymore. And I think that kind of just having a kid made it, what's a good word? Just to kind of just like, it just surprised us, we were
Yeah,
surprised with how much work it is to have a kid and then try and take them on vacations and stuff was just like, I don't know. We just stopped doing it. So,
yeah,
um, my friend had mentioned that she did this lifestyle, or she was in a full-time RVer, I think it was like 6 years ago. And I was like, that could be a really good, answer for our, not going outside as much and yeah, just being able to go outside more. So, and I was at the time as well dealing with postpartum depression. So it was difficult for me to go outside. So I thought Jason works already from home. So let's just take all this and it'll help me be encouraged to go outside because, the adventure is literally right outside your doorstep.
right,
So
right. Were you working at that time?
I was not, no. Yeah, I used to do the same job that Jason does now, but, yeah, when I had Jack, I was just like, I just couldn't do it. Yeah, it was a
Yeah,
lot. So, yeah. Mhm.
yeah. And so how old was he when you moved into the motorhome?
Jack was, I believe he was around 1.5.
Mhm.
So, yeah, he was still real little, and, it was fun because at that age, they just kinda, like, run in a direction, and you're like, "Oh my gosh," And now we're
Yeah,
in an RV park, and there's, like, cars everywhere, and you're like, "Ah, don't run over there," There's vehicles just driving over there, so, of course, as a 1.5-year-old, he just laughed his head off, but,
yeah,
to me, it
yeah.
was terrifying.
So he adapted very well to the situation.
Yeah, he did. He really has. He really loves it. He calls when he sees an RV driving down the road, he's like, "Look, mom, someone's home." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, it is, It's not an RV, it's a house, somebody's home."
Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
that
Mhm.
is pretty cool. Yeah, I love that. So are you working now or is it just your husband and what does he do?
Well, I do, I don't like the word, but I guess you could call it an influencer on Instagram.
Yeah.
I do get paid for that kind of doing ads and working with companies. So that's what I do. I do the writing and the photography and blogging, all of this. But Jason, what are you doing? You want to say hello?
Hello. Hi, Jack. How are you?
You say hello. Hello. Hello.
Yeah.
Go.
You're
Yeah.
cute.
I don't know where Dad is. Oh, he's just outside. Hey, just 1 second, okay? Sorry.
Okay.
Yes, Jackie, let's go outside real quick. Come this way. Come this way. Beautiful. I am doing a side. Yeah.
Okay, I'll see you later.
Come here.
Oh,
Dad
he's too
lost him.
cute.
Yeah, he's a nut. He's
No worries.
so Jason. He is a lead cardiac technician. So he's in cardiology. Um, yeah, he just if you wear like a Holter monitor,
Mhm.
He will interpret the rhythm for you. So that's what he does. Me and him have been in that field for, geez, like I was in it for like 8 years and he's still in it. So like 12 or 13. So
That's cool. It's
yeah.
awesome that you get to take that on the road too.
Yeah, I know it is. It's really cool. We've been remote for a while, before the pandemic, before any of that. So we were just like, why aren't we doing something with this?
Yeah.
Let's go.
How
So
long have you been out on the road?
so we started in May 2019. So almost, or not May, sorry, March 2019. So we're almost 2 years now.
Oh,
So,
cool. Yeah.
mhm.
And then you bought a new fifth wheel, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we have this new fifth wheel, and the other one is being rented out. So we have a company that takes care of it and, maintenance is the stuff and all that. But they rent it out and then we just get the money for it, which pays for this. So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
That's super cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
And how, like, you meet a lot of people on the road doing the same thing?
oh my gosh, yes. When we pulled into this park, um, there were, I think, 3 or 4 people that messaged me on Instagram and they were like, "Hey, we're here. Come hang out with us." So we're like, "Oh, okay." And they're all like families too. So we're like, "Okay, yeah, we'll come hang out with you guys." Sure.
That's
So,
awesome. I love that.
mhm.
I heard somewhere that there's like 1 million people out on the road right now.
Yes, I've heard that too. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure the number has gone up so much more because of all this pandemic stuff.
Hmm.
But yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and RVs are like selling like crazy now.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. I can't remember. Somebody was telling me that they were selling at the sticker price, like the price on the thing. I was like, they're just going so fast that they're like, well, if you want this one, you got to pay this price. Like, okay.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
wow. Yeah,
Hmm.
I bought my so I don't know if you've seen the pictures of it, but I bought an old Airstream Argosy and I'm gonna
Hmm.
renovate it.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, I'm so
That's
excited to
fun.
start on it.
Hmm. That is really fun.
Um, but like I found it and I don't even know, like I haven't kept track, but I'm assuming that like now it's kind of even hard to get that kind of stuff because now the prices in that are
Sure.
going up too.
Yeah, everybody's just grabbing anything they can and they're like, fine, we'll just renovate it. And they just take I've seen them where they take like super old ones, that are like, is that even sell? Like, can we even do this?
Yeah.
And yeah, they'll redo them completely. I'm like, geez Louise, it's a ton of work, but when you're done with it, it's so rewarding because you're like, this is mine. Like I made this for me. So that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. Um, and what are the differences that you saw in like cost savings going into that, or did you see cost savings?
Changing from a house to an
Mhm.
RV.
Yeah.
So you can save a lot of money doing this lifestyle. You
Mhm.
really can. If you plan it out right, if you go ahead and invest in the solar and the generator and just Boondock most of the time,
Mhm.
you save a ton of money. But if you stay at RV parks all the time, it can be pretty pricey, depending on which ones. I mean, I think it's so great about this lifestyle is you can live like super lavishly,
Yeah.
or you can, if you really want to be saving like that month or like the next month or that year, you could save so much money. So it's really flexible for just about anyone.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
do you boondock?
We did in our other rig, we had solar panels and we had some batteries and a generator. This one is still brand new, so we don't have anything on it. Because of the pandemic, we had one picked out, an RV, a fifth wheel exactly like this. We had it picked out and it was just kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed. So we found this one, which didn't have the generator and didn't have the solar already on it. So we're just waiting to, spend that money on the generator and the solar. So
Yeah.
we will do it though. We will boondock with
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, for sure, because you've already had that experience and so you know what it's like.
Yeah, yeah. It's real cool to boondock. It's different. It's a different feeling. I like to do it in the small little stints, so like a week or two,
Uh-huh.
and then go back to like a cheaper RV park,
Uh-huh.
and then go back. But I know some people that just like that's all they do. Never been to a campground. I'm like, whoo, more
Yeah.
power to you. I just can't do that.
Yeah. So, going to the campground, what are the benefits in going to the campground for you?
um, well, there is the obvious stuff like you can dump. There's always full hookups. Generally, there's full hookups. If you go to like a campground, um, there's full hookups. There's water. There's electricity, all right there at the site. There's the laundry that's usually just right there. Um, yeah, just the dumping is really the most time consuming when you're boondocking.
Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
And you don't have laundry in your rig right now then?
Not right now. We have the connections, but we just don't have that right now. Mm-mm.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And what so what are some other benefits that you've seen going into the RV lifestyle from the house? So like did you saved a lot of money like electricity, um and then of course we were talking about going outside as well. Is there some other benefits that you've seen?
Um, I mean, you just become super flexible in this lifestyle,
Mhm.
and like I used to be kind of like an introvert, mostly an introvert. I mean, it was kind of scary to talk to people, I guess. I don't know. But now I just like, hi, anybody random, So there's just so much growth that you get when you change into this lifestyle, flexibility and, you know, being more outgoing and, you know, just you get so much growth from it. Hmm.
I love your little videos that you're doing on Instagram.
Oh, thanks.
They're so much fun.
Thanks. I have a lot of fun doing those. I really love making like the picture posts, but those every time I make them, I'm like rolling on the ground. I'm like, this is so dumb, but I'm like, oh, people are gonna laugh so hard because I'm laughing right now. So I mean, they must think it's a little bit funny, but yeah,
Yeah, I love them.
it's
They're so
goofy.
much fun.
Thanks. Yeah.
Um, what are some challenges that you've seen too?
Challenges that we have had, and I know not everybody else faces it, but Jason, when he was younger, he grew up in a real big house, and he had a lot of space between him and his family. So now being three of us in a really tiny space, it's been a struggle. I feel like mostly for him because I grew up in a house with like seven people and two dogs, and it was way smaller than his. So I'm like, somebody's stepping on me. All right.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, just finding that and trying to keep exercising is kind of that's difficult for me. Um, Jason likes to just take off and go for a run, but I'm like, oh, I don't know, not as much. I'm more of a gym person, so I like to have my like private gym time. So maybe something like a Planet Fitness would be good, to do. But then there's also the pandemic, so it's kind of strange now. But
Yeah.
yeah, exercising can be challenging. So and space, you got to make sure you schedule that time for yourself so you can recharge away from one another. Mhm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Creating like just make sure that that happens instead of just letting it go.
Yeah, yeah, because you can forget and just especially with us and having Jack, we just forget and we go about our day and then we're like, why do I feel grumpy right now? Like, oh, I haven't had any time to myself. That's why. So then like going for a walk or just like, you know, you go to the store by yourself or this weekend go to yoga class by yourself, just go. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you take Jack out hiking, does that work out well for you, or is that kind
Yeah.
of funky or
So at the beginning when we started, oh man, he hated that backpack. He hated that backpack so much. He's a very busy little boy, so clipping him into that is sometimes difficult. So now he's pretty good now. He's doing a lot better. I just put the backpack on or Jason puts it on and we just kind of like take him in and out, you know,
Mhm. Yeah.
kind of to up his endurance for longer hikes so that he can do it by himself because he really wants to do it by himself. He's just little and he gets tired. So, but
Yeah.
it goes all right.
Yeah.
It's
So you
good.
kind of alternate it and switch it out and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay.
Yeah. And if he's gonna stay in the backpack the whole time, if it's like a more sketchy hike, like drop offs, Jason usually carries him down, and I'll carry him the first leg of the hike up, and then carry him down. He'll carry him down. So, mhm.
Yeah, that sounds like you have like everything like really like figured out by now. So
Oh gosh, yeah,
almost 2 years on the road then, and
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
okay, that's awesome. Do you have like other things that you have found that I don't know, like an eco-conscious type of mindset around some other things that you found in living this?
Yeah, I have never been in an RV or anything like this kind of stuff, so it's been really cool for me to watch how the solar panels work and just having that free, you can make the electricity in that way, that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And the amount of water that we use and the amount of water that we don't really need, you
Mm-hmm.
know, compared to when we were in a house, just stand there in the shower for an hour,
Yeah.
But now, there's only a certain amount. So I'm like, well, I guess I really don't need to be taking that long of a shower anyway. I could get it all done and then get out. But um, yeah, so those are two things. Let me see.
And like clothing, I always think about
Yeah,
clothing.
yeah.
Like
Hmm.
it's way less, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, I mean, I just made that reel about it, the joke that we have the clothes that we go through and then we use our old ones that we don't really like, but they're like the after clothes. So you have like a favorite set of clothes that you have, and it's usually very small. Like I have 4 pairs of pants that I really love,
Hmm.
and like an equal amount of shirts or a little more. And yeah, we just have that small stuff. We use that stuff so much that you have to almost buy clothes more often because we
Uh,
use it. We really use it. So it's not just sitting in our closet because we don't have space for stuff to just sit in our closet. So
yeah.
use the stuff. So we go through it a lot faster.
That's interesting. I haven't like thought of it in that way because, living in a big house, it's like you have all of these clothes in the closet, but when you get rid of them, they're not really actually used. And
Mhm.
so that's so interesting that when you actually use them all, then now it's time to go buy them and
Yeah, like you kind of have that same thing going on as in a house. Like you have all those extra clothes that you don't use, but later on maybe you'll use them.
Mhm.
We just, only have so much space. So then when we're ready to buy, we like, we go through everything. What do we not want anymore? We donate that. And then we could bring in, like we have a set amount of like hangers. We're like, okay, now we have like 4 hangers. You can get 4 new shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's actually kind of cool because now you can go buy more clothes like more often and switch it out. I feel like I
Yeah.
haven't bought clothes forever
Yeah.
because they're
But
not
you don't
around.
have to like deal with all of it?
Hmm.
So it's like when you need it, so it's like less stress on you because you're thinking, well, I have that sweater in the back of my closet and I've never used it. Why? Like it's kind of a small stress, but those small things throughout your whole house, they add up, and then you're like, "Ah, there's stuff in here," you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So you've seen so much less stress in your life, like completely across the board than moving into this lifestyle.
Yes. Yeah, I would say so. I mean, moving with a kid can be kind of stressful. He does not, you can only go so far. So if we're like, okay, well, we have a 12 or like an 8-hour day in front of us, then we know maybe it'll be kind of a stressful day. But otherwise, it's usually pretty easy peasy. If Jack needs to, you know, go outside, we just, this park we're at is huge, so we can just run him around, and he'll he'll just fall asleep. So,
Yeah.
yeah, as far as that goes, yeah, it's a lot. I like this better with him because he meets so many kids and he can get so much energy out just doing, the things that we do, like the hiking and just even walking around the park. So,
Yeah.
mhm.
So he's not ready for school yet, right? He's still
Yeah,
3.
he, yeah, he's 3. He just turned 3 in October, so he is not ready for school. We do like little things with him, but we mostly do like play,
Mhm.
So that's the best way that those kind of like the younger kids learn. So we just go outside and play. So,
Yeah.
which is cool. Oh, go ahead.
Are you gonna homeschool him when that time comes?
Yes. Yeah, I want to homeschool him. Yes. That is the plan. Um, yeah, that's the plan. We'll
Have you
see.
have you heard of any other options?
No. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, there's like online school, but that's for like older kids, but yeah, I mean, I feel like it'd be pretty simple. I was homeschooled when I was younger, so I'm not like, totally I've been in that world, so I kind of understand it. So,
That's pretty cool. Then it's an easy transition for you for the most part.
yes, yeah, yeah, I know that world and how that kind of works, and I did it when I was in high school as well. So, I was like, okay, let's do it. It seems a lot easier to me, and for him, since he's a 3-year-old or even a 5-year-old, they just have so much energy. You can't expect them to like sit down. So homeschooling is really good for the little kids because they can get up and down,
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So and this is why I asked the question. I have some friends of mine that like are kind of entertaining the idea, and schooling is a big deal for them. They have a little bit older kids, but I like was wondering if there's like some kind of group of people who travel who have made their own like miniature school. Like
I'm
they just
sure.
travel together and then they have like,
Yeah.
family school.
I'm sure there is. I have not talked to them yet, but there's so many of us out there that I'm sure there is something that exists. I know if they go through full-time families, they might be able to find people that do that stuff. Maybe kids that have or people that have kids there around their age, and then they can hook up with them and do school with them, and part ways and find somebody else. So
Yeah.
that's what Instagram has been really helpful for us in that way.
Okay, awesome. And that like Instagram is kind of like how you meet most people then.
Yes, yeah, yeah. That is how we meet most people. I think we've met 10 people 10 people because of Instagram. Otherwise, I mean, I just kind of talk to anybody at the park. So we found so many other people. But yeah, Instagram is really helpful if you're like, we're in this area. Is there anybody here? When you see nobody around. So
Yeah. Awesome. And it sounds like this is like something that you're going to do for a long time or like you just don't know yet.
yeah, we're gonna be doing this for a little while. We do eventually want to buy land in Colorado, like Durango area.
Mhm.
Um, but that's also kind of why we went with this rig because if when we do park it on land, we wanted it to be closer to a house than, like a tent,
Yeah.
so we
Yeah.
wanted something a little bigger, and Jack's 3, and if there's a possibility of having another one, we wanted space, so mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. And you think that that's like how far in the future?
um Finding the land.
Yeah.
um I don't think I think maybe it might be next year, but that doesn't mean we're gonna stay there. We will still be like full-time traveling, but that's what the pandemic has taught us is we just want to have that chunk of land that we can just be like, okay, everything's freaking out, we're gonna go to the land, That way we always have a spot because when the pandemic first hit, a lot of people got kicked out of New Mexico and they're like, where do I go? And they're like, I don't know, just get out. And
Oh, wow.
people started canceling, like campgrounds started canceling on people, and now just they didn't know where to go, So then everybody just goes home, but there's not we have that space at his mom's house, but we just wanted something that we were like, this is ours. We can go back to this, always go back to this, Even if we're like, I'm just tired and I just want to take a month to just sit. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Mhm.
it'll still be the fifth wheel for the house.
Mhm.
Um, but just being able to park it on a space that you're like there's no issues.
Yeah, yeah. We just wanted we want somewhere that we can just go back, there's always availability. We don't have to reserve it or anything. We just go back and that's our place and we wait for things to blow over and then we can go back out again.
Yeah. That
Mhm.
sounds like pretty cool, like a safety measure, which is pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I think it'll be a real smart move. So yeah, maybe this next year, who knows? Maybe.
Do you go up into Canada or Mexico?
We wanted to, but then all this happened,
Mhm.
and we had planned on going like north, but then we got stuck in northern Texas,
Mhm.
northern Texas, and everything got shut down. So we're just like, okay, well, I guess we're not going to Canada, but we want to. We just haven't made it there.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm sure the pandemic has closed both of the borders quite well.
Yeah, yeah, and now it's just freezing up there anyway. So I'm like, well, we'll just wait again and see what happens. Might as well. Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
All right. And have you visited all the 50 states or is that like part of your
That that's part of my goal. I feel like Jason's goal is to stay in Colorado forever. In the West, just in the West. But for me, I really want to see all 50 states. Um, so no, we have not seen all 50. I think we've seen
Okay.
11 states. Mhm.
And mostly in the Southwest then.
Um, like in the South. So all along West and East. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah, awesome.
It's a really beautiful lifestyle, especially if you're living real tiny like you're going to be, and then boondocking a lot is, if it wasn't for Jason working, and he didn't have to work, we would probably have something like a van, and we would do a lot more boondocking. But since his job requires him to always have the internet, and we need to make sure we always have internet. Um, and he needs the space and the RV, that kind of stuff. We would probably, if we didn't have to do that, we would probably have a little van and we'd
Yeah.
be in the middle of the woods, just running around.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. So your internet, do you have extra stuff on your internet? Like I've heard of like boosters and some people say that they're like really awesome and then I've heard like some people are like no, it doesn't really help.
yeah, well, I think Jason is in the it doesn't really help group. there are times that it really did help. Like the cell phone tower just wasn't reaching us, and we directed the antenna right at it, and we could get signal that way. But that was like that's happened to us like 2 times. So I mean, in 2 years, like 2 times. So we just have hotspots, 2 hotspots. So we have both of the main carriers, which AT&T and Verizon,
Mhm.
and we have those, and we pay 150 for those, both of them.
Okay.
That way we have everything covered, and we always have internet. Because in Colorado, I can't remember which one is the one that they use. I think it's Verizon, and there is zero AT&T there. So if you want to just have that freedom to go everywhere, my suggestion is to get both of them, especially if you're working like Jason and you really need the internet and you need the reliability. Um, I would just get both. But
Yeah.
yeah, and the campground internet is just like, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's provided by the campground. Yeah, it's always like really slow. So yeah, my suggestion would to at least commit to one of the hotspots.
Yeah.
Oh, before the pandemic, Jason used to go to Starbucks and work a lot to get that space from us so that he could recharge and focus on his job. But they have really good internet. But
Yeah. I love it, and I'm so like it's so good to see people that are just really like enjoying the being on the road, and lots of
yeah,
people are like it's so scary, like what about the kids, and
I know. Yeah, I've gotten that question, or it's not a question, it's kind of like a statement. They're like, I'm waiting for my kids to get older and then maybe we'll do it. And I'm like, why? I know I know having little kids is tough, but raise them outside instead of waiting for them to grow up and then raise them outside. Um, I have like a quote that I always say. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, I always try to encourage them. People are gonna do things at their own pace, but I always try to be like, hey, like I'm doing it. I was really scared before I did it. I had a lot of like anxiety about it, but um, I wouldn't change it. It was a good idea.
Yeah.
So the quote that I always say is, "Don't wait until your kids grow up to see the world. Let your kids grow up seeing the world."
I love that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Yeah. And I mean, for school too, I mean, it's great because if you are following a curriculum or something and you're learning about the national parks or the Constitution or whatever, you could literally go and see it. You can kind of look at what the kids are learning throughout their curriculum, and then kind of base your travels off of that,
Yeah.
you know? So that
Yeah.
could be real cool.
Yeah.
Go and see that stuff for real, which, makes it more impactful than just reading in a book about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of me. I grew up in Oregon,
Mm-hmm.
and Washington D.C. seemed so freaking far away. Like I was never ever going to see Washington D.C. And now here I am living right outside of it, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was in when I lived in Houston, Texas. I remember thinking like Florida was so far away,
Hmm.
and we can. I mean, we drove it in a day. We got from Texas to Florida in a day, and I was like, "What?" Like this whole time, it was just one day's drive away, and I was like, I thought I was like, I'm never gonna make it there. I
Yeah.
just never make it. But I'm like, it's right there. Like, why didn't you just go?
Yeah.
Strange.
Yeah. And I just like I see so many people holding back on what they really want to do, and
Hmm.
I just want to like don't do that.
Yeah, just
I did.
go. It's okay. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
gonna be okay.
I
Yeah.
did that my like whole life, and I'm just like now I've been seeing all these people doing it, and I'm like why did I let myself stop myself this whole time? It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah. Sometimes it takes a while to get into that. We're all kind of on our own journey, and something eventually will open you up and you're like, now I'm going to do it,
Hmm.
So, whether it's a book or, um, somebody following it's somebody on Instagram, you finally are just like, screw it. I'm just going to do it now. I got this. We can do it.
Right.
So
Right.
that little switch just has to go off.
Right.
And for everybody, it has to be you that lets the switch go off.
Yeah.
Nobody can make that happen for you.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, I love this conversation.
Yeah, it's cool. It's great, and I'm really excited for you. It's gonna be real life changing. It's been
Mhm.
so we have evolved and changed and grow. We've had a lot of growth in just ways that we didn't even know we were gonna grow.
Mhm.
But that was my one thing that I was most excited about.
Mhm.
Is I was like, I'm gonna grow, and this is gonna be really cool.
Yeah.
I I know I'm gonna grow as a person. Where is this going to take me? And that was the most exciting out of all of it. I was like most excited about that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what made you decide to do so you're doing Instagram and you're making money from that. And like what did you did you know that that's what you wanted to do, or did you know that like or did you like just start doing it and it just sort of happened, or
I started it. I started our Instagram channel, and I would just a dumb joke. I'd just tell Jason, I was like, I'm gonna be famous. Look at me. I'm gonna be so famous on there. And then I kind of got into it, and I was like, you can actually make a living on here. And then it was a full year before I really did anything with the account. And then once that year hit, I started just head like just to the grinding board. I was just like, here we go. I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna make traveling my income. So,
yeah.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cuz I've been in this mindset for the last like 2 years that I wanted to like make an income doing what I wanted to do, and I didn't know like how that was going to look. And like I finally like sort of come to a realization that this is like what I want to do, because I remember like saying to people, I was like, I just want to make the tiny house community online. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how can I make that online? And
Mm-hmm.
so this is like, I feel like this is the beginning of that.
That's cool. That's a really cool feeling too when you're like, oh my gosh, I think I'm here. That's a cool
Yeah.
feeling. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm super excited.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt with Instagram. I was like, oh my gosh, like I can do something with this. And um, making money, of course, was something that I was like, I need to make money. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and also I wanted to create value in the community. I didn't want to be just the same, thing as everybody else and just repeat the same stuff. Of course, there's the normal questions that everybody always asks to get them into the lifestyle, but I just wanted to be something different. Coming from being postpartum mama to having that postpartum anxiety, and then you know like, it's okay, you're gonna be all right. We will, getting outside and doing this life, or committing to this lifestyle is, I just want people to hear that,
Yeah.
it's okay. Like, we're gonna make it. I'm trying to figure out where I'm going with that, but yeah, it was just, I just, I've like, I mean, you've looked at my stuff before. I'm like kind of more of on the feelings, emotional side. So I want people to know that they're supported however they feel or whatever they believe, or, you know, and you can live this lifestyle. Or if you don't want to live my lifestyle or the lifestyle, the RV lifestyle, I just want you to do what makes you happy, you know?
Yeah.
So me living this way encourages you, then, please follow along. And then maybe you will end up opening your restaurant just
Yeah.
because you were inspired by something that I did or Jason did or Jack did.
Yeah.
So just, I
Yeah.
wanted to put some like positive, I didn't want to be the same. I just wanted to like, in some
Yeah.
ways I'm the same, but um, hopefully my uniqueness is out there. Making
Yeah.
people laugh with my wacky RV stuff.
They're too funny. Very cute.
So
I love it. um, so cool. It was so good to talk to you, and thank you for the interview. I appreciate it so much.
yeah, it takes a different kind of mindset to do what we're doing,
Mhm.
to do, living the RV lifestyle. So everyone out here is very like entrepreneurial. They just have a different, mindset. They're at a different pace. We all just think of, I'm not saying that people in houses don't, but um, yeah, it's a different kind of mindset. If that makes you'll get it when you get out here and start doing that. The people are just very different.
I
Um,
there's a documentary. I forget what it's called. Something. Oh, van life. I think is what it's called.
mhm.
And it showed like exactly like what you're talking about, and everybody was like helping each other, but at
Yeah,
the same time they're very independent.
yes, yeah, exactly. We all help each other, and like there's a lady down the road I just met, and their truck just broke down. We don't have the same like hitch on our fifth wheel, but I was like, "Do you want us to move your fifth wheel? Because they have to move sites." And they were like, she was like, "Oh, okay." It's just kind of like that kind of stuff. It doesn't matter. Like I I had to switch sites one day, and Jason wasn't there, and I was like, "I'm not moving this thing." Like it was a really small RV, an RV park, and our neighbor was just like, "Oh, it's all right. I'll move it." I was like, "Okay, thank you." Just if somebody's like, "You need water," during the pandemic, we kind of hooked up with this family, and we were like, "If you guys can't find toilet paper, we'll find toilet paper, no problem." Everybody's just it's just such a community. You know, everybody's just such a strong community. Yeah, it's a community I really love. It's real different than the house community that we came from. We knew our neighbors, but it was kind of like, you stay over there and this is my house and you stay over there. Everybody's kind of like that. But here, like, I went into some random person's RV and they felt like family to me.
Yeah.
It's real cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember like, I mean, of course I wasn't like as much into it as a child, but I remember that same kind of feeling as
Mm-hmm.
visiting campgrounds when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember my dad like just talking to everybody, and it was
Yeah.
like as if he knew him, and I was like, this
Yeah.
is so crazy.
Yeah. It's just, that's how it is here. It's just, as soon as you pull in the park, I mean, there's the random people. But as soon as you pull in the park, your neighbor's like, "Hey, how you guys doing? Where'd you come from? What are you doing?" And then later on, like in Florida, me and Jack were just eating gumbo with these people like randomly. They were just our next door neighbors, and they were like, "Do you want some gumbo?" Like, sure. And then we just went and hung out with them for dinner. Like, whatever. They're
And
just like family.
and the first question that you get asked is, "Hey, do you want gumbo?" instead of, "Oh, what do you do?"
Yeah, yeah. They're like, "Hey, you want to eat gumbo with us?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure."
Yeah. Yeah.
Just part of the family. It's cool.
Yeah, because I was in DC one time, and the person I was talking to, they were like they were frustrated because everybody in DC is like asks the first question they ask you is, what do you do? What do you do for a living? It's like, why does that have to define who I am?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, well, it's funny too, because when you remove yourself from like that stream way of living, the questions, I don't know, have some more value to them. There's more valuable questions being asked between two people. Um, but it's funny when I go back to see my family, I'm like, so what have you guys been up to? And they're like, working. They're like, that's it? Like, yeah. Like, okay. And then you're just kind of like, I don't know what to say now. You're like, I was just hiking in the Grand Canyon. And then
Yeah.
after that, I was hiking in Zion. So um, we did some pretty epic stuff. Like, I'm not trying to brag, but we were doing some like really cool stuff. So, like, all right, I guess,
Yeah. And at the same time, you've saved money by doing that.
Yeah, exactly. Or, sometimes it comes out even, but even if it's even, I'm like, I would choose this over that,
Mm.
even if I'm paying the same amount.
Yeah.
This is just so much more, more dense, nutritionally dense in a way,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for your life. Hmm.
Yeah. And cooking for you is pretty much the same thing then, right?
It was a little strange in our last rig because it was so small. The kitchen was like, there was like the counter like this big, and I was like, ooh. And it was we had only been in that one for a year and a half, so it's kind of like, ooh, I don't know what to do with this thing.
Mhm.
But this this kitchen is a lot bigger and there's a lot more options, so I'm kind of coming into the okay, we got this, we can cook. But
Thank you. Thank you for talking with me today. I really, really appreciate it. And
no problem.
safe travels.
Yeah, you too. I'm excited to see your build. That'll be fun.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to get on it. I'm like, I have to finish the last little bits of the vacation rental, and then that's my next project.
Yes, nice, nice.